Welcome everyone to this year's IC's Annual Science Conference. My name is Jörn Schmidt and I'm the chair of the Science Committee of the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. And it's my pleasure to welcome Fritz Köster, the current president of ICES, to give you some warm words of welcome. Fritz.
Thank you very much, Jörn. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to the 2021 Annual Science Conference. It is not a traditional opening of the conference. Since 1902, we have had these annual science conferences. It is the first one which is online as a virtual conference. We look forward to see how that functions. I'm glad that we are able to do the conference this year. We had to postpone last year due to the corona pandemics. No doubt about that the corona pandemics is a serious threat to our society, but also to the way we work, we do science, and we conduct conferences. However, I am sure we are able to manage the necessary changes. Changes are not only necessary in relation to the way we work, it is also necessary in relation to our environmental and climate footprint in our activities. Not only our activities, also our clients, the maritime sectors, society in general. I've been asked whether the ICES strategic plan actually holds in a post-COVID and zero carbon emission world. And I think that is a good question because the strategy and its underlying science and advisory plan is not even 2 years old. My answer would be, it does not matter whether we are talking about ecosystem-based management, sustainability, climate change, biodiversity, or food security. All these challenges need international cooperation. I'm confident that we are able to deliver the necessary science, advisory work which is needed, but also help conducting the integrated monitoring systems which are actually needed to address these challenges. So yes, our strategy is holding, and our science plan as well as our advisory plan do hold also in our changing world. In fact, I would say they are more up to date than ever, also considering the geopolitical changes we are facing. ICES, that is also science diplomacy, to set the basis for international cooperation to address the maritime sustainability in the future. However, the way we work will change. We will discuss that during the conference, but one thing is important to not forget. It is you, our community of scientists, which is actually driving the progress in our organization and in marine science in general. ICES is one of the world leading organizations in marine science, so it is somewhat important what we are delivering. For future conferences, it will be important to learn how do we combine the virtual, the positive sides of physical and online meetings in a way that we are actually also not forgetting what our ICES annual science conferences are known for. That is social interaction and fun. Those things are important and we will work on it to get it also in future down to the ground. The annual science conference program this year is basically a rollover of the conference program from last year, but it is of course enhanced with themes which have come up since we started the planning of the conference in autumn 2019. If one is looking to the program, it is covering a broad range of topics. If we are starting with the first sessions, they are dealing with marine litter in cooperation with our partner organization PICES. We have in parallel a session on structural uncertainty and stock assessment. And if we are simply jumping to the end of the conference, we are talking about marine mammals as the role top predators in the system, and concluding on a science industry cooperation network session. That is a broad scope. Our keynote speakers, Carlos Duarte, Hyun Shin, and Martin Smith, they will contribute, I'm sure, to the broad scope. So all in all, I wish you all a good conference, and I hope, despite the unusual setting, you have some fun. With those words, I'm giving over to Jan.
Thank you very much, Fritz. And again, a warm welcome to all of you. And I have to say that there is no lack of challenges, of course, but there's also no lack of opportunities. And I think, as Fritz said, the program of the annual science conference this year really reflects the science that is being performed in the community, that is, fulfilling the science plan, the feeding into the advisory plan. But it's also covering a lot of the strategic areas. So, for example, the inclusion of social sciences and humanities. We have seen the emergence of a lot of new groups supported by the work of the Strategic Initiative on Human Dimension. This year also saw the publication of the IPCC 6 assessment report with a lot of contributions of IC's experts. But we have also seen a lot of development on the ecosystem-based management approaches from a lot of the expert groups, but also by work that has been done by a joint ACOM and SciComm subgroup working on a framework for EBM. We have seen a lot of development in the aquaculture field with new groups coming up and a lot of work that has been put forward by the steering group on aquaculture science. Since January, we also support the science priority area on emerging technologies by the Data Science and Technology Steering Group. We also extended the work on the Arctic with a consolidated research report and an ecosystem overview about to be published later this year, and the work that we put forward into the regional workshop for the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development for the Arctic area. Speaking about the UN Decade of Ocean Science, of course, this is one of the milestones this year, and together with our partner organization Pisces, we have been put forward a decade program, SmartNet, and this is supposed to increase the collaboration with Pisces, but also with other partner organizations. But we also want to use that as a momentum to increase the scientific cooperation with other organizations, specifically in the South Atlantic, the South Pacific, and the Indian Ocean. And we have been working on a lot of cross-cutting issues, like, for example, gender awareness, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we'll have on that topic a network session coming up on Thursday during the ASC. And one topic that is very close to my heart is the support of early career scientists. And I'm very happy that this year also saw the launch of the Strategic Initiative on the Integration of Early Career Scientists. I'm very happy to welcome the three chairs of the initiative, Alina, Amanda, and Fedor, presenting the initiative now. So with that, I'm handing over to Alina, Amanda, and Fedor.
We are really happy to be here to announce the launch of the Strategic Initiative on Integration of Early Career Scientists, also known as SIX. 4 months ago, we gathered to discuss the issues which early career scientists face when they join the ISIS community. We discovered that many of us encountered the same problems, the lack of clarity of ISIS structure for newcomers, lack of visible connection between expert groups or between ISIS and other organizations. To solve these issues, we developed several terms of references for this strategic initiative. Specifically, one to promote ISIS amongst early career scientists and at global scale, another one to establish links with other early career scientist organizations. But our main aim is to raise the profile of early career scientists in ISIS.
The ASC is particularly important for early career researchers, because for us it's an opportunity to meet future collaborators, employers, peers, and to make new friends, which also fosters interdisciplinary and international collaborations. My favourite example of that is how I met Amanda during a conference, and I lost this lovely and my favourite keep cup, which she kindly returned to me, and that got us talking to one another. We figured out that we both like to collaborate on interdisciplinary projects together, which we did, and one of them is the Strategic Initiative of Early Career Scientists of ASC. So while this setup is maybe not what we'd hoped for, I really would like to invite you to try and make those connections happen. Use the tools we have, such as the conference app, Twitter, and follow up with people via email. And at least this time, while you're trying to make those connections, you don't have to, at the same time, handle a glass of wine, a plate of food, in a hall full of hundreds of people and trying to make a pitch to one another.
So while we're of course disappointed that we can't all be together for dinner and dancing this week, we're happy to have met some of you already at the network session and the ECS day. For those of you we haven't met yet, we hope to speak to you soon as the ASC progresses. We also have other activities planned in SEEKS that extend beyond the ASC, so while we're all stuck behind our computers at home for now, we hope that this network and its impact within ICES can grow within the coming years. So if you're interested in joining the Strategic Initiative and you see yourself as an early career scientist, please contact us. For more information about SEEKS, our planned activities, how to become a member, please send a mail to the address that you see on your screen, or you can simply reach out to one of the three of us this week. We hope you enjoy the conference.
Thank you very much, Alina, Amanda, and Fyodor, and all the members of the Strategic Initiative on the integration of early career scientists. I'm really looking forward to work with you over the coming years. And now we are coming to an even earlier career stage. I'm more than pleased to welcome the All Atlantic Ocean Youth Ambassadors. And today we have two of their ambassadors with us, Eloise and Jorge. The floor is yours.
Eloise, and Jorge and I are 2 out of 25 All-Atlantic Ocean Youth Ambassadors for the All-Atlantic Ocean Research Alliance. So our group, which is composed of early career ocean professionals spanning 15 different countries, aims to promote ocean literacy, stewardship of the ocean, and sustainable use of the ocean. So throughout the year, we take part in different training programs and educational programs in science communication, science diplomacy, outreach, social media, all of this to help us build the necessary skills to be actors of change in our community and beyond. So we actively try to participate in as many conferences, workshops, seminars, and events as possible,
such as the EU Ocean Literacy event, the UN Ocean Decade Kickoff event, or the main event for the All-Atlantic Research Alliance. We also organize different activities that range from educational workshops to discussion panels with different stakeholders of the Atlantic Ocean.
So really what we try and do is participate in as wide a range of events as possible, so spanning from the more serious conferences with stakeholders and policymakers, then more one-on-one workshops or group workshops with other early career ocean professionals to build on our own skills, and then as well more easily accessible events in terms of outreach, so festivals or local events with the local communities to really try and reach as wide as an audience as possible.
We also participate in the joint pilot activities for the All-Atlantic Ocean, such as the Blue Schools or the Floating Universities.
And really we're here to provide a youth perspective and help brainstorm ideas for the projects.
This conference is the perfect opportunity to bring the scientific community together and put the ideas down in order to find solutions in a time where climate change is striking us very hard. And we only have one priority, which is to protect our marine environment.
Events like the annual science conference are important to allow researchers and scientists to share their common knowledge and work towards their common goal of ocean exploration and conservation. Considering no one individual can know and research everything, by coming together at events like this, we're able to see the bigger picture of ocean exploration and what we're all doing. It's also a great time to celebrate the achievements of individual people and look together towards the future of ocean exploration.
We would like to thank you very much for inviting us to this conference, and before saying goodbye, I would like to remind you all to follow us on our social media, All Atlantic Youth. I hope you have a wonderful conference.
And feel free to reach out to us for any future collaboration. Bye!
Thank you very much, Eloise and Jorge. Impressive work, and really looking forward to what is coming in the next years. And now it's my honor to introduce Carl O'Brien, the chair of the award committee. The award committee had the honorable task this year to select again the winner of the Outstanding Achievement Award. So without further ado, Carl, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jorn. It's my privilege and pleasure to introduce the IC's Outstanding Achievement Award for 2021. This award recognises a member of our community for their advancement of IC's science. The awards committee has 4 broad criteria that we use to judge candidates. These are sustained outstanding performance in contributing to IC's science, someone who demonstrates clear leadership skills, someone who has continued commitment to helping to advance ICES as a dynamic international institution and enriching its community, and also someone who has achievements in science, management, policy and mentoring, not necessarily in all 4, but at least in a number of them. The committee this year, as in previous years, Antonina, Ellen, Rafa, Pierre and Jorn and I never have an easy task in selecting and deciding upon the recipient of this Outstanding Achievement Award. 2021 hasn't been an easy year. Although we've been dealing with the pandemic, IC science has continued to flourish and to evolve. This year's recipient will probably be known to most of you. Even our younger scientists and younger attendees at the annual science conference will have probably seen this person regularly attending meetings and helping to mentor young scientists. He's someone that I've personally known for most of my fisheries career. During the mid-1990s, we worked on EU-funded Common Fisheries Policy studies projects and continued going forward. He chaired the Living Resources Committee at a time when I chaired the Resource Management Committee under the old Consultative Committee. When SciComm was formed, he continued to develop science, continued to work at the forefront of ICES, not just on the science side, but on the integration of science into policy, into management. He's chaired steering groups under SciComm, specifically the Integrated Ecosystem Assessment Steering Group, and he also chaired the Regional Seas Programme. He's someone who is well known for his collaborative approach. He works freely and at times with ecosystem scientists to understand issues around the marine system as a whole. He understands the work that some of us have to do as stock assessors and giving policy advice and how that has to integrate into ecosystem models. He's acutely aware of the needs and concerns of fishers and also our stakeholders. He's someone who has mentored many young scientists over his career so far. He's mentored 15 PhD students, 7 MSCs and 30 postdocs, which is an impressive number. He's someone who's been at the leading edge of science and at times has shown great perseverance, often when emerging ideas have not necessarily been in vogue. So it's my pleasure and privilege this year to announce that Dave Reed is the ICES recipient of the Outstanding Achievement Award. In these strange times when we can't meet in person, I hope you'll find the time to raise a glass to Dave, congratulate him on this achievement, and hopefully when we all meet again in the future in person, you can congratulate him. So for now, I'll hand over to Dave, who has a few words to say. So congratulations, Dave.
How did I become a marine biologist? Well, largely by accident. I initially wanted to be a forester because I was working as a lumberjack, and I couldn't do that because they wouldn't let me go on a course, so I went for marine biology because it sounded like fun, and in the end it's become the love of my life, and here I am. So the thing I'm most proud about with my involvement in ICES is a working group called WK Irish Workshop on the Irish Sea ecosystem. And I guess the reason I'm really proud of it is because it was a collaboration between ecosystem scientists, which is what I think of myself as being, with fish stock assessors and with guys from the industry, fishermen, working fishers. And the actual project we were doing was trying to explain why the Irish Sea had become less successful as a fishing ground. And the fishermen asked for this study, so we were doing it responding to the stakeholders. And then they really engaged with it, and we got some great results out of it. And but the really marvellous thing was that the fishers were with us for the whole journey, and by the end of it, they understood ecosystem models and were asking sensible questions of it. And just the whole thing was just the most impressive single piece of work I've done. And ICES allowed me to do that, so that's my most proud moment. The most inspiring aspect of my career, by far probably, is the chance I get to work with young scientists at the start of their career. I've always found this incredibly stimulating. They're smart, lively, switched on, sparky people. And the ability to work with people like that it keeps me sort of semi-young. And it's the ability to help train these guys, but they develop themselves, and then see them go on to careers in marine science. We have I have ex-graduates of mine who are now working for the European Commission, governments around the world. So I think the thing that inspires me the most is the young guys that I have to work with. The most important lesson, that's one of those questions where you think it'll depend on the day you ask me. I think probably the most important thing I've learned is that it's actually quite difficult to try and be at the leading edge of something. We often end up with ideas that are ahead of their time. So for instance, from WK Irish, which I spoke about earlier, it's something that perhaps that people aren't quite ready for, and so you get a lot of kickback from other parts of the system. And so I think the thing that I've learned the most is to not get too annoyed about that and just keep on keeping on and pushing out the message until somebody starts to pick it up and run with it.
Congratulations to Dave Reed, a well-deserved winner for this year's Outstanding Achievement Award, and thank you very much again to Carl and all of the members of the award committee for the impressive work. And now I'm pleased to introduce Wojciech Wawryński to you. Wojciech will present some housekeeping rules for the meeting and will also present the meeting etiquette. So how do we want to interact with each other during the meeting? Wojciech, the floor is yours.
Dear Annual Science Conference participants, extended welcome from myself, the head of the ICES Science Support. This is a very special conference for all of us, especially the organizing team here at the ICES Secretariat. The virtual mode, even though it has already been over a year since it was applied to ICES activities, is a novum. We just heard awards. I remember years ago at the Annual Science Conference we used to have the Out of the Box award. This year I think it's all the organizers, conveners and participants that deserve an out-of-the-box recognition for keeping this wonderful momentum virtually. We are treading the uncharted territories, nevertheless some housekeeping rules apply. Please follow the ICES Code of Conduct, which is the How to Work Together policy, and the Meeting Etiquette, which is the How to Interact with Each Other policy, both asking for thoughtful communication. Please keep in mind that English is not the mother tongue for most of us. We also ask to avoid any kind of harassment, to promote well-being, and to contribute to the welcoming working environment. All contributors to the conference are expected to conduct themselves in a manner consistent with scientific independence, integrity, and impartiality, and are requested to actively support the IC's vision and mission, both available on the IC's website. It's also essential that the event participant behaviors and actions minimize any risk of actual or potential conflict of interest. For instance, when decisions or outcome of a process are perceived to be influenced by self or professional interest, external pressures, or other factors. Then, of course, the pandemic times update to our meeting policies. Please note that the meetings handled in virtual mode place greater burden on the organizers, the chairs, and the conveners. We may encounter various technical challenges during this week. This is the first time the IC Secretariat and the moderators run an event of this scale virtually. Please be mindful of that and understanding in case of difficulties. Our wonderful ASC team has been exploring the best way to make this virtual event a success. We're here in the IC's headquarters for you throughout the conference. In case of the unexpected, go ahead and contact us. We have dry run the system in-house and with theme session conveners. Still, in case of IT problems, the newly created ASC support at ics.dk, that's ASC support at ics.dk email, is there for you to directly reach our on-site IT support. Any content-related questions, please post to the Whova Q&A. Announcements will be sent out daily with recent updates, and more updated info will be channeled through the Whova community chats. We're all excited here to run this ASC this year. Our science needs the continuity, also sharing of results, so please make the best out of this event and seize the opportunity that the virtual format brings. We're glad you're here. Enjoy the show.
Thank you very much, Wojciech. And the only thing left for me is to remind you on our three keynote speakers, Yunhai Shin, Martin Smith, and Carlos Duarte, who will present live tomorrow, on Wednesday, and on Thursday. And of course, to welcome you to our network opportunities, the speed sessions during the breaks. And finally now to our first two sessions, Session J on marine litter and Session M on stock assessment and management strategy evaluation. So welcome again to our first fully virtual annual science conference, and hoping to see many of you during the breaks.